machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like-fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Everard's, Barlow Blinds, Pocker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Newbie & Co, and the Foxes Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So good evening, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's half time, it's Millwall 0, Leicester 0. Obviously I'm not at the match, I'm being an armchair fan tonight and keeping warm. What do you think? Get your views in, we want your comments, we want to know what you think to the first 45 minutes. And if you're Enzo, what would you do maybe in that second half to get us that win? Last time I checked, it was Leeds 0-0 against Sunderland. Has that changed in there? Let us know your views. Get your comments in there. Mark saying, looking like there's no idea again. Good evening. Mark, I think I'm going to say fair play to Millwall. I think actually they look like a team who are in a relegation battle and they look like they're, you know, they've come out, they've been quite gritty. I think Millwall have played quite well. My God, that was boring, says Ben. Well, listen, there was Mavadidi's half chance, Vardy's half chance. A few times we got around the box. Atgun, do you want to talk about Atgun? Not really got involved in it. Jamie Vardy not really got involved in it. It looks a bit windy and blustery down there. Andy says, what is wrong with Leicester and corner kicks? Said exactly the same, Andy, in that first half. I can't remember us scoring from a corner this season. Somebody put me right. When did we score from a season? We got Vestergaard in there. We got Woutfijs. Got Ndidi. You got people who can head the ball. We seem to do nothing from a corner at all. Lee says, very flat, watching on Twitter. Thanks, Lee, for that. Dorco on YouTube saying no penetration. It's always a problem, that Dorco, mate. Honestly, you've got to be able to penetrate. Bertie says, that poor, I turned over to another match after 20 minutes. It looks blustery and a bit wet down there. I don't know how it is. Sarah, good evening. Hope you're well. What's your views? Get your comments in. Dorco says, Brighton loves taking corners. Well, what would you change? I'm not expecting Enzo to take Doyle off at half time today like he did against Birmingham, but what do you think he would do? I was a little surprised that Atgun made the starting lineup over Fatawa. I thought Fatawa's been perhaps one of the most effective players over the last couple of games against Norwich and Birmingham. I was surprised. Mark saying, and Didi's been poor. Do you agree with what Mark's saying there? Fair enough. Let's get as many comments in as we can. Dave says this is definitely a 1-0 last minute, but 2, I don't know. Dave, we were saying, look, Leicester absorb the Millwall sort of enthusiasm and energy, and then at some point we'll strike in the second half. Craig agrees Atkin not working, needs a change in there. Andy says it's slow, so slow, very lethargic, boring football. Richie, good evening, hope you well, says get fatter on in the second half. I'd probably give it 15. I think I'd say to people like Atkin, right, you got 15, 20 minutes, get the ball, do something, or you're coming off. Kieran says, Mavadidi has lost his flair a bit, doesn't seem as confident 1v1 recently. I thought Mavadidi's been okay, Kieran, today. Okay, and he had that half a chance, but just lost a bit of control. I thought, a nice ball through from KDH. I thought KDH has played quite well myself. Neil, again, saying what we were just talking about, can't take corners. It is a shame in there. Craig says it's a bit slow. Again, somebody in the Facebook group says it's like watching a League 2 game, but that's because of Millwall set. Listen, I think Millwall, they need points. They desperately need points tonight. So I think fair play to them so far in the fact that, I think Millwall are actually putting up a decent battle so far in the match. Get your views in, get your comments in there. Ant says, whether we like it or not, Daka helps create chances for us. And I said I would have had Daka on from the start today, probably, and then had Vardy on for the last 20, 30 minutes. Again, Vardy, we don't really play to either Vardy or Daka's strengths. We don't give them much to run onto. So I just think, well, I think Daka will come on at some point in there. Let's just check what the scores are at the moment. The big one that affects us is Leeds 0, Sunderland 0. There's 41 minutes gone there. That would be a great result for us, you see, if Leeds can take a draw or Sunderland can take a draw. Mark says Fatua needs to not keep trying the same move time after time, but he's still better than Atgun. Yeah, I like Fatua. I think he's quite direct, and I like his bubbliness and enthusiasm. Luke says feels those two missed chances may bite us in the arse. I think you're talking about the Mavadidi one and the Vardy one. They're the two that leap to my mind, Luke. Is that the two you're thinking of? They were sort of half chances. They didn't quite come off. Vardy didn't quite get his foot onto that one, and Mavadidi, bit of poor control, didn't quite work for him. Stephen, I hope you're right, and I think you could be right. We're wearing them down. Wait until the second half. I think Millwall have come out a bit all guns blazing. I thought it was a woeful tackle. I think it was on Atgun after about 30 minutes. I thought it was a red card, if I'm honest. Maybe I'm too used to watching Premier League football, but it was right on the halfway line, about 30 minutes in. Atgun got sent flying. I thought that's a red card, and then I don't even think their player got a booking for it. So, apart from that, the ref's not been too bad. Bob says hard to beat teams like this. They want the points too. Yeah, indeed they do. You have to think Millwall are right down there. They're currently, well, as it stands, they're on 45 points. I believe that's the table, including the point if they took it today. Get Faze and Vestergaard. Richie, that's never going to happen. It's never going to take those two off. And I think they've done okay today in there. Don says, good evening, Don. Watching out there in Myrtle Beach. Hope you're well done. You can't win matches when your main striker touches the ball once out of twice a half. Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Don. We just don't play to a striker. We might as well not have a striker on games like this. We'd be better having just, 11 players and none of them wasn't a striker there. Vardy having a party. You need the ball for that to happen. Dale agreeing with Don in there. Graham said the first half's cured its insomnia. Listen, you, me, we're all armchair fans tonight. I think most of us are. So at least we're not down there in the cold and wet at Millwall. Although I'd like to be down there. Ian says Winks needs to get on the ball and drive us forward. All he's done so far is swap passes either centre foot and either centre halves. I agree. I think Kin and Dewsbury Hall's had a good game. Do you agree with that in there? Dorco says, where are the Leicester fans sitting in the den? They're high up behind the goal. We've been defending Dorco. I don't know why Millwall have all those empty seats behind the goal, because it just makes their ground look crap. It really does. They'd be better. I always think about the TV audience for these things. Fill all the bits that the cameras can see, and it looks like you've got a buzzing atmosphere down there. But I think it's interesting. Mark says as well, Winks needs to be careful, ref is poor. We were saying the first half, this game feels like there might be a red card in it, but either of the sides. I don't know what it is about it, but that's what it felt like. Richie says Millwall are dirty. There has been a few fresh tackles getting in there. Keep your comments coming in. We'll be going back to the match in a few seconds. Gareth says, when are we going to attack instead of passing it back and sideways? Gareth, that's Enzo ball. You know it is. That's what we do. I've sort of got used to it now. I've got used to it. I enjoyed the Birmingham game because there was finally some big excitement at the end of the game, but generally that's what it's been. Henry says, the ref's not been that bad. Get your bifocals on, Phil. I didn't say it'd been bad. I just said I thought you missed a screamer of a tackle. Maybe that was me. Andy says only 5 shots from both teams in the first half. Yes, it's not been exciting, has it? Matt says we will step the pace up second half. I think we will, Matt. I think you're right. I actually think the last 10, 15 minutes, this is part of the Enzo ball sometimes, is just let the other teams come. And then 10, 15 minutes to go, we'll go for the kill. Bring Fatua on, says Stephen Malt. Around the hour mark for Atkin. I would agree with you. 60 to 70 minutes, do it. Don says KDH and Winks playing well, but they need help, more movement, more energy down there. Do you agree with what Don says? Ian says, and did he looks out of sorts? Shame it's not his normal position. Get Pratt on. So again, Ian saying that's exactly what happened on Saturday. with some changes. For me, we've got to win this tonight. We really, really want to win it. Leeds are still, I'm just going to refresh my screen. As far as I can see, Leeds are still 0-0 against Sunderland. Let me know if that's changed. It's just about to enter half time there. Ref blowing at the crowd's reactions. Paul says need to up the tempo second half. Dave says he fears the worst. Dave, please don't say that. Come on, we need to get this in there. Richie says no to Pratt. I like Pratt. Listen, anyway, we're going to go back to the game now. Come and join us at full time. Grab a cup of tea. Let's have a good old chew the fat at the end. Hopefully, it is following a Leicester win. I'll see you at full time. Come on, Leicester. I think we can do this. Quick score prediction from you guys. If you want to put it in the comments, I think we're going to win this 1-0. I think it's got 1-0 Leicester written all over it in there. Let us know what you say. Dave saying a draw isn't good enough. Don goes, go Leicester, in his typical American accent in there. Richard's going 4-0. I love it, Richie. I love your enthusiasm. You never know. It could be one of those second halves. Andy's saying 2-0 to Leicester. Richie, I assume your 4-0 is to Leicester. I know you're passionate Leicester fan. You're not going to say 4-0 to them. 2-0 says Chris. These are all going to be Leicester, I'm sure. Keith is saying 2-1. I'm going 1-0. Last chance to get your comments in. Let us know who you'd go for before we go back to the match. But I've got to go and make a cup of tea for everybody in my house and then get back to the match. So I'll see you at full time. Come back. Join us then. See you in a bit.